Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Thank you for being patient with me. Let me change the camera. No, that's not it. I'm doing it for my classroom so I don't get disrupted by the dogs and someone else or whatever. So there we go. Dogs, kids, fill in the blank. Yeah, so thanks for being patient. I'm sorry I'm a little tardy.
Hey, no biggie. How you doing today?
Great. How are you?
We're good.
Good.
Yeah, nice sunny day. Oh, absolutely. It's beautiful here.
Good. I know you don't get as much sun as we do in California, but so you got to enjoy it while you can.
That's absolutely. Right. Yeah. We're both from California, so.
Oh, you are?
Got to enjoy it a little bit, yeah, when we were younger.
What part of California are you from?
Gilroy area.
Oh, wow. I lived in San Jose for 5 years, so I know all about Gilroy and some garlic.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Cool.
So tell everybody about yourself for those who don't know who you are.
Yeah, my name is Riccardo Magni. I've done a lot of things in my life in the strength world, and right now I'm currently the Vice President or Secretary General for Armlifting USA.
Awesome.
So yeah, I've competed in powerlifting and strongman, in shot put and discus, Highland Games. I've done a lot. Moz wrestling. The only thing I haven't tried is Olympic lifting and bodybuilding.
Okay.
So yeah.
Olympic lifting looks tough.
Yeah, I think you have to start that one at a much younger age to be good. So if you started in high school, maybe you were playing football or throwing and you had a good basis for the Olympic lifts and you were well coached as a teenager, I think you have a much different outcome than if you're an adult lifting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us a little about Armlifting USA. What got you into that?
Well, it all started on a trip to St. Petersburg, Russia with Ode Haugen and Clay Edgen in 2017. So the three of us went together. Let's back up. In 2016, Ode went to St. Petersburg and he competed in the World Armlifting Championships. Then in 2017 at the LA Fit Expo, Roman Penkovsky, who's a very strong Russian guy, arm lifter, he and I kind of became friends. We hit it off during the contest, and he invited me to compete in the World Armlifting Championships in St. Petersburg. So Ode was going, then I was going, then we got Clay an invitation, and we had so much fun, and we saw the potential for arm lifting to grow that Ode and Clay and I started Armlifting USA on January 1st, 2018.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, so that was it. Then in 2018, I did not go back to Russia. I elected to try something new. I went to Finland to compete in Finland with Arto Gironin and a bunch of other top lifters at his contest in Finland. And then in 2019, I went back to St. Petersburg with 20 other Americans, including Ode and Clay, and to the World Armlifting Championships, and I got 4 bronze medals.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I did no medals the first time for me, except the team medal is hanging in my garage. Ode, Clay, and I got 3rd as a team, but no individual success for me. It's a different world competing when 12 time zone is different from you.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So, and I'm a morning person, right? So my morning is nighttime there. So, I train normally 5, 6 in the morning. So it's 5, 6 at night. Let's get started. Well, the competition's in the morning, which means it's in the middle of the night for me. So yeah, not the greatest. So you have to be ready for that. And I wasn't the first time, but I knew what to do the second time.
You start training at like midnight the second time? Just going out.
No, I did a little something different. So I because I would probably get hurt if I trained at midnight. I'm a school teacher during the day and coach. So in fact, we're in my classroom right now, little virtual field trip for you guys. So we're in my classroom right now, but no, but I was aware of what was going to happen, and I kind of paced myself differently over the weekend for the different events, and I knew based on the times where I would feel stronger and where I wouldn't feel as strong. So I adjusted my attempts accordingly, and I was successful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us what motivates you to compete in competitions.
Well, I'm a firm believer of being a better version of myself. So even though I'm 46 years old and I've had a few health issues, as I've told you, I can still be better than I was yesterday. And I like the challenge of working hard and seeing a result in a contest. It's one thing if you lift in your garage and you set a PR or training maximum, that's fantastic. But it's another thing if you can do it in a contest with hundreds, sometimes thousands of people are there. It's a different animal, and that's why I prefer to I let my contest performances do the talking. Well, let's say that.
Awesome. So along that same line, what do you consider your greatest athletic achievement?
Well, that's interesting. Well, greatest achievement would be, I mean, there's a bunch of things that rank up there, right? So getting the 4 bronze medals in Russia was a good thing, right? I felt very proud of that, and I look up at them in the garage and it gives me a good feeling, and I can't wait to go back and get some more. You know, bronze is not my favorite color, so I'm looking at some other colors. So that's one. You know, I came from behind to get 3rd in the Arnold Classic also in 2019. And I'm not going to name names, but a bunch of people were writing on the internet that the only reason I was in the contest because I was the organizer of the contest. Well, I might have surprised some people and I got 3rd. So I was very proud of that because some people, and I don't get involved in that public slamming of people or I told you so. I just let the contest they'll speak for me. So yeah, I managed to get 3rd in that one behind Tanner Merkel and Adam Glass. So some pretty good competition. Yeah, not exactly scrubs. And none of the international guys could beat me, and they were the best in the 100-kilo class that would come. We had them all there. Now, granted, they had to do time zone issues just like I did when I went to Russia. So I know they're at a disadvantage lifting in Columbus, but still, the results speak for themselves. I competed for a long time in shot put and discus. Post-collegiately, I competed in college and post-collegiately as well. And I competed against a number of Olympians. So that's cool that I know and have competed against Olympians in track. I only won once, and that was because Adam Nelson fouled all his throws. But I still beat him. But the key to that is I threw my PR in the shot put against him, right?
Oh, okay.
I mean, he fouled all of his throws. And if one had been legal, he would have beaten me by 15 to 18 feet. So I'm not saying I'm better than Adam Nelson, but on that day, at least I could get my best throw in the contest against a future Olympic gold medalist. So, you know, I'm proud of certain things for sure. And you know what, guys, I think my best lifts are yet to come in arm lifting. So, yeah. Oh, another one was in powerlifting. It was a close failure, but I failed on a 700-pound deadlift after I made 672. And, you know, maybe on another day with better attempts, if I knew, okay, I'm going to nail 672, and then maybe I would have gone from 661 to 700 or done 650 or so, but it wasn't to be that day. But that was a very good attempt, and it was super close. So
yeah, that's a huge lift. Were you at 100 kilos at that time?
No, I was much hungrier at that time. No, I was 275.
Okay. Man, that's a huge lift, though. Jeez.
It's all right. I mean, it's all right, you know, for the drug-free competitions, it's okay. I mean, now today with these deadlift bars and these other things, supplements, these guys, you know, 800 is no big deal now at that weight class. Is nothing. It's a warm-up weight for some of these guys.
That's their starting weight now.
Yeah.
It's insane what they do.
It is. It is. Yeah. I mean, they're very strong men. So, but for me, it was good.
I'd be happy with that. I mean, I'm 275 right now, so I know that size.
Yeah.
Full 700, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, well, it takes work. That's the deal. Is it deadlift? You can always increase, but it takes work. So that's the key.
So on the opposite end of the spectrum, what's your greatest blunder or injury?
Well, I've had a number of injuries. So yeah, I've had so the greatest injury, I wouldn't call it a blunder, but it's an injury. So I have a very rare injury. I tore the tendon to my left latissimus. So where it inserts into the shoulder, I tore that off the bone. And yeah, it was an odd injury. I injured it at Odes contest when I was a helper and a referee. I injured it lifting this power stairs thing, and then I finished it off deadlifting in the garage. And that was an interesting injury because I got it reattached. And then 6 days later, after the reattachment, my house was under construction. I bent down to pick up my cat because it was going in the construction zone, and that was a no-no. So I bent down and pick it up, and my arm was in a sling. Well, my arm went forward like this, and it tore off again.
Oh.
So this time, the doctor, he drilled 6 holes in my humerus, wove a synthetic tendon through. They had it was approved only for animals, but the other one wasn't strong enough that they used. So they used the synthetic tendon. And then one of my Swedish friends, who's a 3-time Olympian in the hammer throw, told me that they used Botox on some of their guys who had odd injuries like this to freeze up the muscle, because my back was so big, any movement, it would pull it off. Yeah. So I got a couple shots of Botox in my lat, and sure enough, that worked. It felt like cardboard for 6 weeks, but that was long enough immobilizing it that it healed. So that I think is the worst injury that I've had, as far as sports related. Yeah.
That just sounds terrible.
Yeah, and then to be honest, so then about 2 years later, right, my humerus shifted because of the way the tendon was sewn in. The humerus shifted a little bit over, and it killed my bicep tendon, and I tore the bicep on the same side at the elbow. So I had to have that reattached too.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a string of bad luck.
Yeah. So maybe not so vicious. What's your greatest blooper? Anything funny that you've done in competition or just messing around that you...
I'm not big on the bloopers. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe a misloaded bar, but that doesn't happen very much. I'll have to think about that one, Adam. I don't know, really. I have to think about that. I focus on the good stuff, not necessarily the stuff I want to hide away from, but I'll think about that and we'll see. I mean, I bombed out of powerlifting meets. I don't know if you call that a blooper, no, but I've certainly bombed out of my share of powerlifting meets in the squat.
Well, on the opposite end of a blooper, what's your biggest goal right now?
Well, that's easy. I want to pull 100 kilos with either hand in the Rolling Thunder. So my PR with my right hand is 93.5 kilos. And my right hand has had a little bit of a setback right now, and we'll get into that. But I just competed at Odes Gym on March 7th, and I pulled 85 with the left hand, which was a PR, and then almost got 87.5. So my left hand's never been stronger. So my timeline, it would be at Odes meet in May to pull 90 kilos with either hand. Hopefully my right hand is feeling better. And then in maybe July or August, get up to 95. And I may be farther along than that now. I may be at like 91 or 92 kilos now. My training has been going very, very well. And then, you know, if I can pull 95 in August, I have a real shot at 100 kilos in the end of the year. So that's what I'd like to do, is pull my body weight on that. There's only been a few people who've done it. 9 people officially have done it on the Armlifting USA leaderboards. I've only seen some of them in person, and I don't want to disparage anyone, but sometimes, you know, the judging isn't so good. And that can be in any contest, powerlifting, strongman, Highland Games, whatever. Sometimes people get quick down signals. And I don't know, maybe they were exquisite lifts. I have no idea. But I know that for sure, Tanner Merkel, Adam Glass, Andrew Derniat, and Eric Grusin from Canada have all pulled their body weight or more because they've done it in front of me. So I am very certain those 4 guys can do it. So I don't know about some of the other guys because, again, I just haven't seen it. So it's a small group of people that can pull the body weight on Rolling Thunder, for real.
No, who's the heaviest one that's done it?
Well, those 3 guys were all 100 kilos. Yeah. Eric and Derniat pulled 110. It was all at the 2019 Arnold. Tanner did, I want to say 115 at that meet. I don't have the results in front of me. So 115 is 253, 110 is 242. So they're excellent lifts. I just like, if I can get it to 100 kilos weighing 99, that puts you in the money at any meet. And I'll be happy to go back to Russia with that strength and roll the dice and see how I fare.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to be able to pull.
Yeah, it's very possible. So it's just going to take some practice.
Good. So how's that left coming along? Is it you blowing past PRs just now, training with that left a lot more? Or?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, right, I had a stroke on July 12th, 2020. So about, what's today? It's almost 8 months ago that I had a stroke. So I was totally paralyzed with my whole right side from my face to my foot as a result of the stroke. So that's not ideal. And to be honest, you know, 7 months before, on January 1st, 2020, I had a heart attack. And on the January 7th, I had open heart surgery and I had a 5-artery bypass.
Oh, wow.
So I was coming back totally good after the heart surgery. And then the stroke happened. And that was really unfortunate because I hope neither of you have to go through either one. But recovering from the heart attack, you know, and my chest is sawed open. I have a scar. I don't know if you can see it over here on my arm, where they took artery out of my arm and put it into my heart because the other thing was too blocked. And they also, I have a mark like that on my leg too, where they took veins out of my legs because they needed a lot of plumbing, the doctor said. So, yeah, it was just unfortunate. I had one more blockage in my neck. And initially the doctor said, don't worry about it. It's only half blocked. Well, it was 100% blocked and it was a matter of time. And then it's fixed now. But, you know, I'm suffering the residuals from it still. So my right hip is still a little paralyzed. My right shoulder and my right hand is still really numb. Now, that being said, I still pulled 83 kilos with my right hand in preparation for the March Odes March contest. So I'm not exactly a scrub, but I'm not my former self yet. And that's the key, is yet. So Yeah, it's been a little bit of a setback, but you got to make, when life gives you lemons, you got to make lemonade. So my left hand has never been stronger. So I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. So, but my right hand is catching up. A couple days, it's beating my left hand. And you'll find in arm lifting that there's generally two types of people. There's one person where the left hand or the weaker hand is 10 or 20% weaker. That's most people. And some special people, like Adam Glass is one, their hands are, and Ode is another one, their hands are interchangeable on the day.
Yeah, this guy's like that.
Yeah.
Some people will give up with his right hand on a PR and then get it with his left. And what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same way. I feel you. It's frustrating, but some people are like that. And, you know, it's important for you to know what your strengths and weaknesses are so you can exploit them to help you.
I think I'm stronger left-handed the Rolling Thunder than I'm right-handed. I'm right-handed, so.
Yeah, well, maybe it's because your right hand is overtrained doing all the other daily tasks. Maybe your wrist or maybe your fingers are a little longer. The body's funny. There's a lot of variables that come into play. But that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I actually think it's my weird thumb. I had two thumbs on my right hand, so my thumb doesn't actually bend like this. On my right hand, I can't bend it at that level. So I think that it has something to do with how I grip bars right-handed. That some of them I can't just hold on to as well.
I would absolutely think you've uncovered the secret as to why the left hand is better. Yeah, that would do it. Yeah.
So what are some lifestyle habits you subscribe to that may benefit the average person trying to get fit and healthy?
Well, that's a good question. So I've never been a person, and I mean never. I never drink and I never smoke, don't do drugs, none of that stuff. However, for me, and I'm 6'3", the heaviest I've ever been is 290. I'm 220 now, pretty lean. So for me, the key is meat. So I didn't know this. If someone told me when I was 30, hey, dummy, in 15 years, you're going to have a heart attack and a stroke if you don't stop eating meat. Now, that doesn't mean everyone should stop eating meat. But if someone had told me that 15 years ago, I would have pressed delete on meat a long time ago. But I didn't know. And our medical system, the way it's set up, and I think the COVID thing is a perfect example. You can see the flaws in the United States medical system. They're worried about just treating people that are sick. And a lot of the people that died or were having really bad complications from the COVID had all kinds of other problems.
Yep.
So if they had been pre-treated for their other problems, maybe they would have survived the COVID, or maybe it would have been less injurious or to their body. But that's not the case. What we do in America is we go to the hospital when we're on our last legs, and they don't want to see you if you're healthy. No one wants to, if you're healthy, no one wants to say, oh yeah, you're fine. Let's scan your arteries anyway, and let's just see. It doesn't exist. So, or if it does, you're going to have to pay a lot of money out of pocket for that. And regular people can't afford that.
Yep. They
just can't do it. So, so the lessons learned for me now is, now I'm a vegetarian, right? 100% super strict, no meat. Okay. So, and guess what? I'm training pretty hard right now, and I can recover just fine. So I'm eating enough protein and I'm recovering fine. I feel great. So I don't even think about meat, and it's meat no more. So, and I do a lot of walking. So every morning I go, or before every training session, because sometimes I train twice a day, I go for a walk. Now, a walk for me, I'm not just strolling at the neighborhood, you know, looking around. I'm head down, I'm going. And to give you an idea of the pace, like my walks this morning, and it's my neighborhood, even though I live in California, I don't live in the mountains, but I don't live in totally flat. There are some hills. Okay. So my neighborhood, some walks are uphill.
I actually lived in Morgan Hill, so we know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. Right. Okay. So yeah, oh, it's good. Yeah. So some walks are uphill, some are downhill, some are uphill and downhill. So today's walk, I walked a mile and I keep track of everything, right? So maybe I'm a little anal retentive, but I keep track of all the loops and I keep track of my PRs. I have it on a Google document. So I just update it on my phone when I'm done. So today's walk was 14 seconds better than I did the last time. And it was at the mile mark, it was 13 minutes and 21 seconds. So if you're not sure how that is, go download some app, you know, Map My Run or some app. Go walk for 15 minutes and see how far you get. It might surprise you if it's not a mile. And that's not the workout, that's the warm-up. And so since I've taken to the walking after the heart attack, I noticed just, I feel so much better. And I don't run because, well, now because of the stroke, it's I can't run right. So I'm not going to damage my knee or hip or ankle because my body mechanics aren't fully back to normal yet. But the best mile I've walked is 12 minutes and 50 seconds. I've broken 13 3 times now. And let me tell you, that's moving. If you break 13 minutes walking, now not running, walking a mile, you're moving. And so for me, it helps the heart rate recover. It helps me then for all the training and the crazy rehab exercises my therapists have me doing. It helps me recover from all of that and from the arm lifting training. So the walking is critical. And with the COVID situation right now, where a lot of people are working from home and sedentary and having Instacart deliver their groceries and they're not moving, the moving is very, very important. You know, I'm the high school cross country and track coach here at the school where I teach. And it's sad, but even among the athletes, they've gained weight. And simply because they walk from their bedroom where they're doing their online classes to the kitchen and then back to the bedroom. Yep. They're not walking around the school. They're not going upstairs and downstairs, and there's not PE. They're not doing the regular stuff. So walking, I think it's free. Anyone can do it. And even as little as 15 minutes a day can make a massive difference in a week. So I think the walking is really important. And strength athletes tend to, oh, I'm not going to do that cardio. It's going to make me weak, or I'm going to lose weight or whatever. If you walk for 15 to 20 minutes a day and you lose muscle, then you're not eating right, because you're not going to lose muscle by doing that. Now, you walk for 4 hours a day, yeah, that might affect your powerlifting or arm lifting negatively. But at 15 to 45 minutes a day, I'm not so sure about that. And it's an investment in you. It's like putting money into the piggy bank. Trust me from experience.
I used to be a runner, so I know, and I tracked all my loops and used Runkeeper and had like 8 to 12 different loops. And I'm like, this is 1.5 miles, that's 3, this is 5 miles, this is 8 miles, all that stuff. So yeah, I use the exact same app, the Runkeeper A6. I use that every day. Yeah, it's awesome. It is, and it's free. I mean, you get so much information for free. So, but yeah, that's what I use. Yeah, 100% agree with the walking thing. Absolutely. Where are you getting your protein? Are you doing a lot of protein supplements? Are you finding in a lot of nuts? Or yeah, I drink a couple protein shakes a day. I have my share of beans, black beans, and I seem to digest those really well. So I can eat like a pound of beans at a time with no problem, mixed in with other stuff. So yeah, I'm seeming to get enough protein without having to. I mean, I've become a vegetarian in August, right? So shortly after the stroke, I went to sleepaway rehab for 8 days. And there the doctor kept lecturing me, and I just said, fine, that's it. I'll be vegetarian. So I'm vegetarian there. I don't drink milk. I do eat yogurt though, but not a lot. I mean, one little thing of yogurt, maybe a day, maybe every other day. And yeah, some protein bars for snacks and protein drinks, and it's working. I'm having very few digestive problems, like no digestive issues.
except in the beginning, getting used to the amount of fiber I was eating was it was a little shock to the system there, so to speak. But yeah, now I'm attuned to it and ready to go.
Do you do eggs at all?
No, I don't need to. And in fact, I lowered my cholesterol. Now I am on one cholesterol medicine, but I lowered my cholesterol by 300%.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah. So the doctors and the cholesterol medicine took it down. It took it down 200% with the medicine. And then I took it down another third, another 100%. I have that number with the diet and exercise. So I'm like an endangered species. I have a whole series of doctors now that are watching me and calling me and making sure I'm still alive. So yeah, I've gotten so many blood tests. You know, it's shocking. But the doctors are all in agreement that what I've done is going to keep me around for another 30, 40 years. So I just have to keep doing it. And I'm the most disciplined person I know. I mean, you could stick a hamburger in front of me right now, wafting, In-N-Out burger from Morgan Hill Boys.
Yeah.
Nice In-N-Out nice double, right? Or in my case, 2 double doubles right there.
Nope.
You could have put a fan and blow it on, and I wouldn't eat it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I my willpower is very, very, very good. So yeah, that's it. So and the other biggie, I don't eat anymore. And I stopped eating it often just because that helped me lose weight to go down from 290 to 220 would be ice cream. I have a sweet tooth and I eat it occasionally, but not like I used to. I mean, I used to eat ice cream every day. I like it, but those days are over too. So yeah, I mean, I like having abs and I like being 220 and I feel good and I feel strong and awesome. Just working on rehabbing my crippled hand and hip and shoulder. So, but they're getting better. I mean, I think most people, like even a month after the stroke. Oh, by the way, I missed no teaching days after the stroke.
Wow.
The stroke was in July. And yeah, I had to have my wife drive me to school for the first week. Convenient because she teaches at the same place that I do. And my kids go here too. So
it's just a family trip then. Yeah.
Well, with kids, it's, everyone has their own car and their own schedule. And you'd think we'd be able to go all in one car, but that's way too complicated. Silly. But yeah, she drove me for the first week until I was cleared to drive again after a month. So yeah, I missed no days. And the heart attack, the open heart surgery, and that was pretty severe. When they cut open your chest and I mean, your whole sternum gets cut open. I mean, it's probably pretty traumatic. I missed only 12 days from that. So I'm normally like really healthy. So this was a real shock to me, especially the stroke, because I wasn't mentally ready that I was gonna have these experiences, but I've become stronger as a result and I've learned and I'm thankful, blessed to have a second chance.
Yeah, that's incredible, man.
Well, I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but maybe it was what I needed to go through on my reaction. Oh, it says, I don't know how to change it right now in the middle of the Zoom. It says it's my school computer. It says Mr. Magni. So sorry about that.
That's all good.
Yeah, sorry.
Noticed that when you signed in, I thought that was neat.
Yeah, well, I'm at my school computer, so I am Mr. Magni at school. So yeah.
Sorry,
but go ahead. Sorry,
I said being a teacher now, you can teach all of us, too. On
health
and nutrition as well.
That's the thing. If I can share my insight with having unfortunate firsthand experience of these situations, if one person benefits from it, it's totally worthwhile. So I'm happy to help.
It definitely strikes a chord with us. There's definitely a history of heart attacks in our family with the men. Most of them have them in their 50s, and a lot of the men in our family are from down south where they eat a lot of meat, eat a lot of barbecue, and live that kind of lifestyle. So it's something I think we're going to have to change as we get older. I'm 36, and I've already started considering cutting out red meat completely. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, my father died of 2 heart attacks in 3 days when he was 50. I drove him to the hospital because I was in high school, and I got out of bed, and he wouldn't go to the hospital. I literally, and I grew up in New York, I literally dragged my dad down the driveway and stuffed him in the car and took him to the hospital.
Yeah, that's
yeah, and he died 2 days later of a second heart attack. That was it. And he was 50 and not overweight. He was an alcoholic and he was a smoker, and he was thin though. He was like, I don't know, 6 feet, 160, not as big as me, not as big of a structure as me, but he didn't take care of himself. That's for sure. But still, you wouldn't expect him to necessarily die at 50. My grandfather, his father, died of a heart attack in a cab in New York City. The cab driver turned around and he was dead in the back seat.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. And I think he was about 65.
Bro.
And my mom's dad died of a heart attack right after I was born. I never met him. Right after, like 6 weeks after I was born. And I think he was 68. So this is the scariest thing, guys. And I'm not trying to freak you out when I tell you this, but my neurologist after the stroke, I told my whole family history and I went through exactly the same spiel I just gave you guys. And he said, hey, Riccardo, what if you have worse genes than they did? And I'm a biology teacher, a biology major in college. I mean, I almost pooped my pants.
Yeah.
Because no one thinks that you have the worst. No one thinks you're worse, right? Oh, that happened to my dad, but I don't drink and I don't smoke, so I'm going to be fine. Maybe not. And that to me was like, beyond eye-opening, guys. It was shocking. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that moment in the hospital room where the doctor was standing, and he's a great doctor, where everything was. I'll never forget that. And so I asked him shortly after that, I said, hey, do you think I should stop lifting? And he's like, no, I don't think you should stop lifting. I think you should lift more than you lifted before. Now, he's like, I don't think you should do heavy squats, right? Because that puts a lot of pressure on the brain. So I think your squatting days of heavy squats, maybe they're over. Deadlifts, you're fine because you can drop it. It's not putting that same pressure on you like squats are. But I explained the grip. It's a thicker bar. It's less weight. He said, no, that's all good, because guess what? If you don't do anything for you, if you don't do anything fun, and you were into this weightlifting like no one I've ever met, he said, if you don't do anything for you, you're not going to heal normally. You're going to get depressed. And I think you're much more likely to have other problems, related to the depression for the rest of your life if you stop lifting and stop being athletic, than the chance of you dropping dead lifting something. Anything can happen. He goes, you can get run over by a car when you drive out of here, but it's probably not going to happen. He goes, probably you're not going to drop dead of lifting. So, but the chance of you getting depressed and never doing what you like to do every day, that's pretty high, like very high.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you take what life gives you, right? You make lemonade out of the lemons. And I'm trying my best to be very positive in my outlook, trying to do all the right things for me that I need to do to get better, while still having 3 kids, a wife, 3 dogs. I coach 2 sports at school to do my job, and I take teaching very seriously. I've been county teacher of the year here in Santa Barbara County, and I've been national environmental science teacher of the year as well. So I'm not just good at lifting. I'm not as dumb as I look. I actually know some stuff, and I actually can, despite the remnants of the New York accent, I can actually teach some kids some stuff. And we had the first student from our high school get into an Ivy League college this year.
Oh,
it was
wow.
very exciting. Yes.
Cool.
She got into, is one of my students in, I had her last year in AP Environmental Science, and I have her now in AP Biology. Yeah, she got into Yale.
Wow, the big one too.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Go Bulldogs. So yeah. Oh, and she got a full scholarship.
Ah, it's fantastic.
Nice. Even better.
Yeah. So you're looking at 75 grand a year for 4 years. So she got 300 grand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's great.
it's so exciting. That's right. And I had another student this year get into Stanford and get a 70% scholarship. So she got all tuition paid for 4 years. She has to come up with room and board and books and, you know, but that's better than having to come up with the whole enchilada. So I take what I'm doing very seriously. Kids on my track team, I got 2 kids running in college next year right now, maybe more by the time the end of the season comes. So, you know, I also coach people on lifting too, on the side. I write programs for them and personal train them. And, you know, I'm not going to throw names under the bus, but some very, very famous people have called me to write them programs, including some you've interviewed and some you haven't. But I've helped a lot of people, and I take pride in using that. And thank God, when I had the stroke, that part of my brain wasn't fried. None of my brain was fried, really, which is delightful. Just my balance isn't perfect right now. But you know, the brain is a funny tool. You can reprogram the neurons and get them working differently than they did before. So, yeah, and a stroke, apparently, the therapist said it takes a year to a year and a half to get recovery. And they're coming up with exercises that they've never done before, because I can already do their exercises. So they have to come up with crazy balance exercises on Swiss balls and Bosu balls and stuff that's crazy hard. But that's what I need to get better. So I tell them, bring it. Yeah. Whatever you come up with, just bring it, and I'll see if I can do it.
Push them to become creative, 100%.
Oh, they already know. Yes, they already know. Yeah, and
on that same topic, what's some really creative like methods of coaching or techniques you've come up with that have helped your athletes or yourself get an advantage on the competition?
Well, first of all,
conventional methods.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I test everything on me before someone who's paying me does it, right? I don't experiment on them. I don't think that's cool. So anything that I've written for someone, I've tested and I've made sure it works. I think the biggest thing that you'll find is specifically in arm lifting is the people's physiques. The people's physiques are very related to gripping and holding on to an object. And I'll give you, there's a couple examples, but I'll give you a couple, right? So one is a hand size. So I don't have super big hands, but I have fat fingers. I have big palms, shorter fingers, but fat fingers. So I'm going to need a different strategy for either holding a thick bar like an Axel or a Rolling Thunder than someone like Mark Felix, who I've had lunch with, whose fingers are this much longer than mine. And just remember, I'm 6'3" with size 13 shoes. I'm not a small guy, but Mark Felix's hands are like this.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's like fake. And he's such a nice guy and so humble and soft spoken, but you shake his hand and he's like grabbing me on the forearm, and I'm like, what is that? Like, you have to see it to believe it. So for him to deadlift,
I've seen pictures of him holding like fat dumbbells, like inch dumbbells, and it looks like a regular bar in his hand.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yes, and yes. So I can get my hands to touch all the way, my thumb and index finger, thumb and middle finger like this, all around an axle, Pollen's axle. Okay. I mean, when I was in Russia, there was a 6'7" guy. And I'll be honest with you guys, I called him out on it because he was cheating. He hook gripped the axle. Think about how big your fingers must be to not only touch, but to overlap and hook grip. I mean, his fingers were at least an inch longer than mine. An inch. Right. So I called him out on it and I complained. And hey, it's the World Championships. And they know they're not supposed to do it. It was a guy from the Ukraine. And then, believe it or not, Alexei Tukalov, who's a Russian, he went down and interpreted for me to the rules committee. And they brought the Ukrainian over and they told him not to do it again. And they gave him no lift. And then he tried the same weight and he held it easy. He deadlifted it. He held it like looking around, right? And I could tell because he showboated a little bit. I saw his hook grip there. You could see it. And because in the 2019 venue, we lifted on this great stage. It was awesome. And so looking downwards from the people's point of view, because only the competitors and the judges and the officials were on the stage, right? The people who's competing right then. So it wasn't my turn. So I went back down to my, to America's area where I had my duffel bag and I got a sip of water and I watched it and I saw it. You could see it from that upward angle that he hook gripped it. And I went furious because I was not going to lose a medal because I would have gotten fourth if I lost to that guy. I was not going to get fourth because of cheating. If he's better than me, more power to him. I'll shake his hand and I'll hold up his arm all day long. But no. So Alexei told him, and then they made him repeat the weight. It didn't even budge. It didn't even get off the floor without a hook grip. So I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. So that guy is going to need a totally different training methodology than I will because he can do things physically that I can't even dream about doing because my hands aren't getting any bigger anytime soon. Yeah. So likewise, so think about this. Think about the average woman who's like 5'5" or 5'6" with hands much smaller than mine, but they got to lift the same axle.
Yep.
Right? Now that's a different proportion. They don't have to lift it as high, but they have to lift something where their hand is open like this.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different animal compared to this. So there's a lot that goes into it. You have to look at an athlete's background, right? So I've done my share of deadlifting, right? My PR in a meet is 672. So the weight of pulling an axle off the floor, it's no big deal, right? I failed 400 in meets 10 times on an axle. Why? Not because I couldn't pick it up, but because I drop it between my knees and my lockout every single time. Let me tell you something, guys. I'm telling you right now, there's no 11th failure. No more 11th failure. The next time I try 400, it's going to be made. And I'm not competing in the axle until I know I can make it in the meet because I am going to make it. And then we'll put that to bed right there. So, but yeah, everyone's got different backgrounds, right? So I've coached some people that are big into the arm wrestling, right? Those people have fantastic wrist strengths.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam Glass, even though he has dabbled in arm wrestling, especially for his body weight and his physique, his wrists are like steel cables. If we dissected Adam's wrist, he might not like that, but if we dissected his wrist, you look at those tendons, I couldn't imagine how big they are and how strong they are from the years. Now, Adam is one of my best friends. Adam and Carl Myersko are probably my best friends. Adam has been doing this. I'd never heard of this stuff before, and he was doing arm lifting for years before I even heard of it. I mean, he's been doing this stuff since 2010. So he's had 10 years experience, 11 years experience of thick bars. He's doing this a long time. And he's not that old of a guy. I think he's 36 or 37. Yeah. So we have not seen the best version of Adam yet. No way. But his wrists are so strong. Like what he can do with those plate curls, and it's mind-boggling. I don't know if you guys have ever tried that stuff.
Yeah.
It feels like my fingers are literally going to break off. Like I don't even do them because I feel like my fingers are going to get damaged. So I don't even do those plate curls. I do other wrist strengthening, but compared, our PRs are similar. He's better, much better. But in some events, our PRs are similar, but we have to work on different things because I don't have the wrists, these alien wrists from some other world that he's worked hard to develop for the last 11 years, right? I don't have that. So I have to do different things than him in order to improve. So I don't know if that answers your question. It may have made more questions. I don't know. But yeah, that's my long-winded answer to that one, Frank. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I've been reaching out to grip guys that have similar shaped hands to me. Aaron was one that I reached out to because he has the big palm and short fingers, like a big palm and tiny little fingers, similar to your shaped hand. And
Yeah.
I mean, us short fingered guys tackling the inch is a different story than those long fingered guys and some other stuff that we do. It's definitely different. So that's great advice. I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, tackling the inch, and I've been successful. The first time I lifted it was in a parking lot in Texas with Tanner Merkel and Adam. I lifted Tanner Merkel, by the way, he keeps an inch dumbbell in his car. So he keeps it in the trunk of his car. I don't know how many gallons of gas that costs him in Texas, but he drives around with the inch at all times. So I'm not making that up. So he had it there, and I wanted to lift it, and we had a contest the day before, and I lifted extremely well in the contest. And then, but I couldn't do the inch because I was tired. But we trained the next day, and I was like, bring it. So he brought it there. He goes, I always bring it. It's always in the car. I thought he was kidding. It's really always in his trunk. So I lifted it, and it's on my Instagram right there in Texas in the parking lot. And that was a great feeling. And then after that, I had built up enough strength that at that point, then when I came back from Texas, I lifted Carl's inch in his garage, and then I lifted John Matchnick's inch in his garage before he moved. So I lifted 3 different inches within a week or 10 days. Like, I had my game on right there.
Yeah.
And it takes a certain amount of strength to do that. And until you can do that, it's just gonna, if you're lucky, if it spins and spins, you might not even do that. And at least I know for me what strength it takes to lift it, and I'm getting very close again. I've never done it with my left hand. I suspect with my left hand, I could lift it right now. So, but I don't have one. So I have access. I do have an inch type dumbbell. It's a weird dumbbell. It's a strength shop dumbbell. It's 64 kilos, but it weighs 147.5 pounds. But the handle is supposed to be like an inch, 60 millimeters. Now, the handle is 65 millimeters.
Oh, wow.
So it's even, yes, I know. Tell me, it taunts me all the time. So I lifted it after the heart attack, about 3 months after the heart attack. Easy, level, easy with the right hand. Couldn't do much with lefty. And the thing is, that dumbbell, even though the weight is less than the inch of 172, because the handle's fatter, it's not much different than an inch. Yeah. It's much more close to that because the handle opens up your hand that much more. And I can't afford another 5 millimeters more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I know if I can lift my dumbbell, I can lift an inch at any time. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've gotten it off the ground with both hands since the stroke, and but it's not a focal point for me right now. But an advice to the viewers at home or whatever, and you guys, if you can get an inch dumbbell of any size, you can afford one, which they're not cheap, right? They're not free. But if you find someone selling one or trading it, or you can even borrow it, even if it's 100 pounds or 125 pounds, it is massively beneficial to having one because it's a lot different than the blue fat grips on a dumbbell. You think, oh, it's the same diameter, it's no problem.
Yeah.
It's not the same. There's some physics, some rotation. And when the dumbbell with solid metal rotates all at once, that's when you see people drop it out of their hands. And regular dumbbells with plates that are plate loaded, not the same.
You could also get into those fat grips too a little bit because they might be hard rubber, but you still get a little bit more traction on them because you can dig into them with your fingertips.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. The fat grips are a great training tool, outstanding training tool. Yeah. And if you don't have the money for a real Iron Mind axle, I mean, for $40, fat grips, you can't go wrong. They're wonderful. They are. If I had to tell anyone, if someone wanted to get into grip and they were like, Riccardo, what's the one thing I should buy? A pair of blue fat grips. Yeah. Or maybe if you're a woman, and I don't mean this negative to women, I just simply mean, apples and oranges, you smaller hands, the blue fat grips may be too big at first. Yeah. You get a pair of the black fat grips.
Yeah.
I used them both today in my workout this morning. So for the price, you can't beat it. They're portable. You take them in your duffel bag, you go anywhere. Literally, I was in Kansas this week visiting my daughter, who's a college sophomore, and she plays soccer for her college. So I was in Kansas. I used them on Monday at the gym, slap them on. They're in my carry-on bag, ready to go. The black ones and the blue ones. So it's a very, very low cost, very effective training tool. The orange ones are great too, but most beginners, unless they have just super massive hands, I wouldn't have them use the orange ones right away, because they can certainly, because your body is strong enough to lift a weight that your hand can't keep up with and wrist, and they could tweak something right away if they're not ready for it. But the orange ones are great too.
Yeah, for sure. We use the blue ones all the time, and we just got a set of the cone-shaped ones too, and we're digging those as well.
I haven't tested those. What do you guys think about those? What do you tell me about them?
Oh boy,
why should I get them?
Man, it targets an area of your hand that you don't usually target, because you put the fat part on the pinky side, and boy, it makes you really squeeze with those two fingers a ton. So you really feel like you're working that area of your hand. That's key for me, because right now my goal has been trying to close a big gripper. I don't train the grippers too often, but I'm training everything else and then jumping on them to test out where I'm at. And yeah, I feel like that's helped me gaining my gripper strength a little bit. For sure.
It's working your pinky and ring finger separately?
Quite a bit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Really?
So much fatter on that side than it is on your index and middle finger, because the cone shape of it, you put the fat side on.
Yeah, so you're holding it like this.
Targets it weird
with your way open with this side of your hand. So
very interesting. Yeah. Where did you get those?
Those are from Wrist Ball.
Oh yeah. Yep. Do you get them on Amazon, or where'd you get them? eBay or what?
Well, I bought them straight from Wrist Ball.
We bought them from Wrist Ball, yeah.
Okay.
On their site.
We found that actually with Adam Glass's training video a long time ago, and we asked him about them. We're okay, where do you get these?
Yeah.
Yeah, we asked him about the Tyler grips that's on his DVD, and he said, "Oh man, I completely forgot about those. They don't really make them anymore." So yeah, these ones are by a company that actually called Cone Grip.
Right.
Yeah. When you hold them, man, they really open up that part of your hand a lot. It's great.
I may have to purchase a pair of those from myself. So thanks, guys, for the tip, because I don't know if you know about the nerves of the hand, but there's one nerve that goes down and your hand gets cut in half.
Yep.
So it controls these two fingers and half your middle finger. And there's another nerve that controls the thumb and index, and then half the other middle finger. So
yeah, for sure.
The good thing for me is, since being paralyzed, the numbness is moving around in different parts of my hand. And my therapist said that's wonderful, because if it was just in one place and never changed, that's a little troublesome. But because it's moving around, someday it's going to move out of there and leave. But my pinky and ring finger, they could definitely benefit from that additional stimulation there.
Yeah, I'll send you the link to where I got them from. Absolutely.
Oh, much appreciated.
For sure.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, we're really excited. We actually have an inch dumbbell coming. Steve Slater's making it right now.
Good.
So yeah, we're gonna have that here before our July competition. So we're pretty stoked about that. It'll be a paperweight for us for a little while, but we'll get it.
Well, don't be frustrated at first, because if you've never picked one up, and trust me, I failed the inch dumbbells at Odes so many times, and it's very frustrating. I'm just going to tell you guys, it's frustrating. And people like Adam and Tanner and Carl and David Labe, and they make it look so easy. Like, you see him benching. Do you know David Labe from Washington, D.C.?
No, I saw the guy from England just tie Brian Shaw's bench record on the inch. Yeah.
Well, David Labe, he's 6'7", low 300s, very lean, very lean. He's competed in Armlifting USA several times. I'll send you his Instagram. It's D_LABB. You send that, you watch him. He's a big boy. And he just did some benching with 1 inch and one adjustable dumbbell that was approximately an inch weight. And he got him in position like it's nothing. He did it easier than that Sam Parker in England.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it is pretty impressive. He's a big, strong guy. Nice guy too. Very nice. I've competed against him before when he came out to California. I think he's going to Adam's contest that he's having in a couple weeks.
Cool.
In April. It might even be next weekend or the weekend after. I'm not 100% sure. It's not an Armlifting USA contest. He's having an exhibition at some Fit Expo somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's in Dallas or Fort Worth or where it is. But anyone wants to know, they should just contact Adam on Instagram and find out. But he's going out over to that contest and to mix it up. One of the events is they have an inch dumbbell load to a 24-inch box. So you load it to the box and they roll it off and you do it again.
Oh, wow.
Roll it off if you can.
Yeah.
You do it again, right? So that's one of the events of that contest. So no, you should definitely look up David. He's very strong guy. So he's very impressive. So
absolutely, we're actually heading down there for King Kong this year.
Down to where?
Down to Texas.
Down to Texas with Adam Glass.
Yeah, we're actually heading down there. We got an invite to go down there for King Kong, so we already got our plane tickets. We're booked to be there the day of and the day after to hang out.
Yeah.
So
he's gonna let us come hang out and train with him and teach us some stuff. So.
Yeah, you will learn stuff. That's for sure. They have a very strong crew there, so you guys bring your A game because they're very, very strong. I was just at Adam's house in January. I bought a car for my daughter who's going to college in South Carolina, and it was $12,000 less than in California here. So I couldn't waste $12,000. It's a lot of money. So I flew over there in South Carolina. Conveniently, I planned my trip so I would go past Adam's house, and we hung out and trained for an afternoon. So
Awesome.
yeah, you will put the thinking cap on when you're done there, because the stuff that he and Tanner and the other boys can do, Steven Anderson and Tommy, the other guys they have there, they're strong, and it'll be a super fun time. You'll love it. It's exciting to hear. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, we're pretty stoked about it. We figure we don't know who's going to be hosting King Kong up here next year. We know it's Mike Thompson this year, but he's thinking at retiring after this year. So we think, it could be it could be us. It could be another group really close to us. So we figure after this year, we'll probably be up in this area for King Kong. So this is pretty much our chance to get down there and do it, meet everybody and have fun and, be a part of the whole grip scene. So that's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. And that's one of the great things about arm lifting is you can make so many friends, national and international, in different states. You will meet people, and no one's doing this to make $1 million, right? Yeah. None of us have a Nike or Under Armour contract at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
So but we are, Ode and I are trying to make the league really grow, right? We're really working hard on making it grow. We have an announcement. I don't want to tease you guys, but we're announcing a big We're announcing a big contest really soon that you may want to be part of. It's separate from King Kong, but it is going to be a multi-venue experience.
Cool.
So I will make sure that you're on the know when we announce it. I'll make sure you get all the relevant info. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's all I can say right now. But we've kind of signed some deals, and we're going to announce a very big contest soon. We're waiting. I'm going to say too much. We're going to announce a big contest. We're going to announce a big contest soon. I'll make sure you guys know what it is.
Can't wait.
That's
gonna be
awesome.
Yes, and you know what? You will be able to try different lifts and participate, and it's like King Kong. Everyone's going to be grouped together, and we'll see how it comes out. So, yeah, we spent a lot of time planning it. Just the COVID has kind of derailed it. So we haven't announced it yet until the COVID kind of gets a little better. because I don't know if you guys have gotten vaccinated or what, but I have. Luckily, I've gotten the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. No bad effects, nothing. I was fine. I lifted great the next day. No problems. But you know, a lot of people are hesitant to go to contests, especially unvaccinated, or if the COVID is ramping up in their area. It seems like most of the country, it's really declining now.
Yeah.
But, you know, to be safe, we're not going to get a big thing going where people, you know, feel like they're not in a safe position. We're waiting a little bit.
Hey, all the more time to plan. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. So if you could start your training over again now with what you know today, would you do anything different? And what would you do different? Why?
That's a great question. You guys have asked some good questions. I love it. I would do a lot of things differently. The first thing I would do differently but part of it is being mean to myself, because we didn't know. Like, my first contest was the San Jose Fit Expo in 2015. Okay. But Armlifting USA didn't happen until 2018.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what the events were going to be. But if I could start it over in 2018, and I was already pretty good in 2018, right? Because I had trained grip for, actually, that's not true. My first one was at Santa Cruz Strength in Clay Edgens contest. California's Strongest Hands. I got third in that one. That was my first contest. And then my first big contest was the San Jose Fit Expo. But if I could do things differently, I would have focused on the big events, the Rolling Thunder, the Axle, and the Saxon bar. That's what I would have focused on my energy on, as opposed to getting distracted. And I use that term loosely because it is fun, but getting distracted with hubs and pinch blocks and, you know, the grippers are fun, and I still want to close the number 3 officially. My hand is just too paralyzed now to, I haven't closed the 2.5 yet, and I haven't been practicing grippers, but since the stroke, the best I've done is the number 2. And to be honest, I damaged the finger slightly because my hand, all 4 fingers don't squeeze evenly on grippers. Yeah. So I just put grippers to rest again until I feel better. So, and I have quite the collection of grippers, but they're just resting, waiting to be used until my hand is not numb anymore. But I would have focused on the big lifts where I get the most bang for my buck: Rolling Thunder, Axle, and Saxon bar. And I would have let the other stuff it was a little bit of monkeying around or trying to get on leaderboards and that stuff, which was fun, but it kind of detracted from my overall results in those lifts. So also I've learned, and I learn constantly from my clients on how they do and how different people respond differently to different stimuli. And every month when I watch progress, I take a note of what worked for them and how can I do better. So yeah, I would do some things differently for sure. But the best decision for me was to lose body fat, to get down to 220 and compete here, and yeah, continue the quest. You always want to lift more. So I've beaten what I lifted at 275 at 220, and I'm gonna and I'm gonna continue to beat it. After my hand gets better, I'll continue to beat it.
Did you lose a lot at first, dropping from 275 to 220, or did you pretty much stay the same and then get even stronger?
Lose a lot, you mean of my grip strength?
Yes. Going from 275 down to 220. Did you lose at first and then gain it back, or did it pretty much stay the same?
No, it didn't stay the same. I lost. I mean, having the extra pounds for leverage helped.
Yeah.
But no, but I didn't lose a lot, but maybe I got down to about 85 or 90% and then build it back up from there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but I went from, size 42 pants to size 34 pants. I could wear smaller ones, but my legs don't fit in them.
Yeah.
So,
I know that
I mean,
problem.
Yeah. I've had that problem before, yeah.
yeah, so I lost 8 inches off my waist and, not so much off my arms and shoulders. I mean, I'm still smaller than I was. It's impossible to not be, but, and I'm much leaner now, much, much leaner. So I have a picture. It's on my Instagram. I can send it to you so you guys can see the difference.
Okay.
It's quite remarkable. And that's 100% due to hard work and discipline and eating differently. 100%.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm 275 and want to get down to about 220. So that's why I ask.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's we can talk more after the show, but it's doing something every day. It's putting money in the piggy bank. You can't do that 3 times a week and expect to lose weight, right? You've got to do something every day. You've got to make it part of your routine. You got to make it something like I wake up in the morning and maybe I'm demented, right? Maybe there's something wrong with me, but I wake up in the morning and I'm like a little kid. I am so excited to train every day. I talk to some other people and like, yeah, get in there, whatever. And they're very strong. I'm not going to name names. They're very good. They're very strong, but they don't have the passion. They don't have the desire.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep doing this until literally I can't do it anymore. And hopefully that's not anytime soon. So I'm like a little kid. Like I'd like to go to practice. Like I played basketball. I played basketball and baseball in high school. I played basketball my first years in college, and then I switched to track. And I thought I would be a high jumper because I could jump high and dunk a basketball. I'd be a high jumper. Coach told me, no, we got this guy from Jamaica that's a high jumper. You're going to be a shot putter. I was 180 pounds. I didn't know what the shot put was. I picked up the shot put. My arm almost broke off. I'm like, I got to throw this thing? Like, what are you talking about? So I remember my very first track meet was in college, a sophomore in college at Widener University in Pennsylvania. I threw the discus 67 feet and the shot put 27 feet, 3 inches. Now, I don't know if you know about throwing, but that's awful.
Yeah.
Like if anyone else knew that, and I told them, well, I threw for 10 more years after that, they'd be like, you're stupid. Like you wasted your time. You're terrible. You should go back and play ping pong or do some other thing in college and not do this. But I got up to 49 feet, 3 inches in the shot put and 180 feet in the discus. The U.S. national mark at the time was 196. And I tried as I may. I could not make the U.S. nationals. And that was my goal, is to be in the top 25 and make the nationals in discus. And I just couldn't do it. I wasn't good enough. Just not strong enough and not good enough technique and just couldn't do it. So then I switched, and then I was still powerlifting at the time. And then this whole thing with arm lift and strongman, and then the arm lifting came up. And then during strongman is when I met Ode, and I would go down, drive down 2 hours to his house. He lives 2 hours away from me. And I would go down and train with him. Hey, and here's a funny story. You know who one of the plate loaders was in the beginning? A young Martins Lisis.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
He was loading plates in the beginning.
That's awesome.
And then now he picks up all the plates now.
Yeah.
That's
man.
absolutely, and earned it. But he wasn't born the world's strongest man. He's put in some work to get there. He's a great guy. But he was a young plate loader in the beginning, and yeah, I fondly remember that. I mean, Josh Bryant trained with us, who does all the powerlifting programming now.
Yeah.
He trained strongman with us for a while. Yeah, a lot of people have been there. Yeah. So, but then in when Ode called me up for the Fit Expo, and I expressed interest in it because I did well in the California Strongest Hands, and he was like, "No, you definitely need to come to this. You need to give it a good shot." And then after the first meet, I was like, "Okay, this is what I'm doing now. Now it's on."
Got you hooked.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting task if you think about it.
Yeah.
You got to be strong, but your hands are the limiting factor. And I just think it's cool.
Yeah.
And I think my goal is over the next couple of years to expose as many people as I can to it. And I've done seminars at a lot of the Fit Expos where we bring people up, they try it. It's wildly popular. So it just they need the exposure. We've had people sign up on the spot after my little seminars. I did one at Mr. Olympia. We've done it at the Philly Fit Expo in LA, San Diego. I've done these seminars everywhere. And we have tons of people that come and ask questions, and they know what it is. And they know what a rolling thunder is, and they know that's the Axel Mark Felix lift. Yes, it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So they've seen it. They know it. They know who does it, but they don't have the confidence to go try it because, as you guys know, a double overhand deadlift is not the same as a powerlifting bar with knurling or with straps, even worse.
Exactly.
Yeah, the straps. Ugh. But well, you know what? I've seen it dozens of times. Guys with straps, and even in a gym traveling, and I'm lifting on the blue fat grips or the orange fat grips, which is even more humbling. And you get a weight on the orange fat grips, say like 250, 275. It's only 275 pounds. Come on, pick it up. But you even some big yoked out guys, they go to try it and it never moves. And then I do a couple reps and look around and put it down. I'm like, all right, come on, bro, your turn. And it's nothing. And they walk away disgusted all the time because they don't realize the skills involved for that. It's tricky. It's tricky.
Absolutely.
We've had that happen a couple times here at this gym. So
it happens at all gyms.
yeah,
I'm sure it does.
And they're just like, oh, just got humbled by these little dudes.
And that's a good feeling, to be honest, guys. Good for you. That's great.
It says it's like a gripster when you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says something about your training when you can do that. And I know where you guys live in Washington, it's cold and rainy all the time, and you guys are out there. I've seen you in the garage and on the mat, and it's wet, everything's wet and moist, and you're out there going after it anyway. So more power to you guys, because you don't get strong just by lifting it once. It's the day after day after day. That's how you get strong.
And we know here that obstacle course racing and Spartan racing and all that's huge in the Pacific Northwest and Portland and Vancouver. So we try to get all those guys over and get them into grip too. So we're trying to spread the word and get more gripsters here because we got a pretty big area ourselves. Yeah,
well, that's most appreciated, right? So I know I'm looking forward to the results of your contest, and see how the people do, and if you can get new people. I mean, you guys are getting wildly popular with the potato lifting. That's a cool, ingenious idea. I don't know what it feels like. You only watch the people on the video, but it's obviously you got dozens of people. You got little kids doing it now. I mean, it's
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Get them excited. That's what I say.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about the potato. We just want it to be fun.
Yeah, well, it looks like, but you got women, you got kids, you got big guys, you got small guys, you got all kinds of people doing it. I saw some guy on Instagram trying pull-ups.
Yep.
Hey, when they try the pull-ups, I don't even know how big the potato is, but are they able to put their fingers around the top of it, or is there only
partially? Only partially. We have cards. You can only put your hands halfway underneath the potato.
So it's like this.
Yeah.
And you can see these two guards here.
Yes.
Fingers up to there.
Got it.
Thumb sort of wraps around here, and that's your typical deadlift or your pull-up lift. And then we also do a pinch lift that we're going to be doing in competition too, which is thumb on Idaho as well. And fingers just don't go over.
Right.
And those are going to be our main lifts. We're going to be actually introducing official lifts with them, which will be 5-inch height, and they'll be in contest here pretty soon. So we're pretty excited about that.
Cool. Yeah. I just, not a criticism, just information. Just so you know, before you start the pinch lift, you'll see people constantly sneaking down.
Oh yeah, we know.
And that's hard. That's hard to judge on video because I judge a lot for Armlifting USA I judge all the video lifts. And It's a tricky one, just like sometimes with the blue fat grips or the orange, where people rested on their thighs as they're deadlifting. I mean, it can touch your thighs going up, but the angle of your knees can't rebend to support it, right? I mean, so you're going to see, and you're going to become not so popular if you disqualify some people because their hands are like this instead of like this.
Yeah.
But
well, we haven't decided to officially include the pinch lift, partially because of that reason. But the deadlift is totally different than just about everything in grip because it's like a pinch lift with your thumb and a stirrup lift with your fingers. It's quite tough.
Oh, I bet it is. It doesn't look, and it's irregular, the surface. It's not a regular bar or something.
Your buddy has a world record right now with it, so.
Who, Adam?
No, Clay.
Clay. Oh, what did he lift on the thing?
201. And I think he get 211, no problem. I mean, he was so close to locking it out, so.
And he had it on a 5-inch lift, 201?
No, it was a lockout lift.
No, 201. He's doing friendly, so it's full lockout.
Full lockout, 201. Well, I'll have to see. He's a little hungrier than I am. I don't know what his body weight was.
He's big.
But he's a big guy. I mean, he's 6'5", and I don't know if the first number is a 3 or a 4. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
So it's but yeah, I'll give it a go. Sometime I'll see how it feels. Yeah. That would be fun.
Another guy we're excited to see pull on it is Joe down in Australia with the stirrup record.
Joe Hodgson, that's a strong dude right there. And he's unassuming. He doesn't look real muscular or real like powerlifting or bodybuilding, but that dude is strong. He's a strong man, and he lives some very, very impressive things in training. And he's been trying all different methods, which I think is interesting. And he's a strong dude for sure.
Yeah, he's heavier for a climber. Most of the climbers are a little bit lighter than him. So if you're that weight, close to 200 and you're a climber, you're going to get really strong in the hands.
Yes, and yes. So yeah, he's a strong man. So he is going to be very tough to beat on that. And I would predict he might even beat Clay. With that particular hand positioning that you were just demonstrating, 200 is not a lot of weight for him to lift. So I suspect he would be very good at that.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see.
Absolutely. So what's the most important piece in your home gym and why?
Most important piece in my home gym and why? Well, I mean, I think for arm lifting, the deadlift platform, just having a stable platform that I lift on, I think that's critical because I think a lot of people, and we talk about this on Instagram, if you're downhill or uphill, or it can change the lift, and it might not be perceptible at the time, but it will be later. And if you're lifting kind of your knees and hips, it can beat you up if you're not totally level. So I think the deadlift platform is really good. I think the power rack is really important for safety, right? And for so many exercises you can do in a power rack. And I think I have a nice set of dumbbells that are adjustable. I think dumbbells are really useful. You can get strong with a lot of angles with dumbbells. So I don't know if I have a favorite piece. I mean, Apollon's axle is beautiful. It's a nice stainless steel, cool bar that sometimes gives me nightmares. So I don't know. Let me think what else. I mean, probably if I had to I guess if I had to just pick one thing, it would be the powerlifting bar and all 3 fat grips. I'm cheating. I'm picking more than one thing. But
there you go.
I'm the guest. I get to cheat on this one.
That's right.
That's probably what I'd pick because you can do so much with the different fat grips with the one-handed deadlift, 2-hand, overhead press, curls. So many exercises. And if you have the bar, you can squat and bench and stuff, do stuff anyway. So Probably that's what I would pick. But nothing beats specificity, right? Nothing beats having the actual thing you're going to compete on in the lift, right? So I could try the grab ball. I could try the tips tester to somewhat mimic your potato, but nothing's going to mimic the potato than having a potato in my hand and trying to lift the thing. Yeah. It's just not the same. So you can try to lift on a Paulins axle with a homemade axle. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
You know, but if you're just starting out, I mean, get some fat grips and get strong. That's what I say. I mean, it'll get your attention.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was the first grip thing we got after grippers was fat grips.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, you're smart guys. There it is.
Yeah.
Smart guys. So I'm interested. I'm intrigued by that cone gripping thing you showed me a few minutes ago there. I'm intrigued by that because for my rehab, that might be just what I need to get the ring finger and pinky back to life. It might be terrible. I don't know, but we won't know until I give it a try.
We hope it works.
It's just a cheap set of rubber grips, you know. I mean, that's the nice thing about the rubber grips is they aren't too expensive, and give them a shot.
Yeah, so, no, I will for sure.
Do you have any other advice for people at home trying to get fit and healthy?
Yeah, I do. So besides the eating, right? Just in general, if people eat packaged stuff, if they eliminate packaged stuff, more natural food. By natural, I mean, if you have a salad, if you have lettuce, just some like mixed greens and tomatoes with a little bit of dressing on there, as opposed to Doritos and Pringles for lunch, you're going to notice a huge difference in your physique in days, right? So if you have packaged stuff, it's going to be better for you. And excuse me, if you eliminate packaged stuff and have natural stuff, it's way better for you than not packaged stuff because it's the training. And I've trained people who are already professional athletes and some people that are professional at sitting still and watching 12 hours of Grey's Anatomy. So I've gotten the whole gamut of people, and just even little changes get them to see a difference in the mirror, and then they want more changes. So that it's a positive cycle, right? Then they're willing to work a little harder. Then that 15-minute walk just became a 20-minute walk, or that 15-minute walk became two 15-minute walks, right?
Yep.
And then that 2 sets of arm curls just became 4 sets of arm curls, or that plank that they did for 5 seconds, they did 5 of them now for 5 seconds, right? So little infinitesimal changes, while in the grand scheme of things, don't look good. They look, but they add up, and they add up quickly, especially at whatever level you are. So if you're a beginner and you do something is better than nothing. And if you're medium, do a little more advanced version. And if you're an advanced lifter, well, what else do you have? Well, you got to try something new. And I think that's what you see Joe Hodgson doing right now on his Instagram. He's trying new things to simulate new growth. And I don't know if it's going to work or not, but he's obviously a very, very, very advanced lifter. And so he's got to try different things to get gains because he's already good. So very good. So that's what you see Adam doing. You see him like he's farmers walking the inch. Well, that's great. That's great if you can pick it up, right? Most people can't even pick it up, let alone pick it up with either hand, let alone pick them up both at the same time. Then walk with it. Then do it again. I mean, the guy's insane. So if you're a viewer at home and you're trying to do what Adam does or Hodgson does, or God forbid you try to do what Carl does, Myersco, who lifts unbelievable weights. Some people can't deadlift with any grips. They can't deadlift it with straps, and he's just repping it all. Blah, blah.
Exactly.
So you try to follow one of those guys, and you're going to be real sad real quick because most people can't even think about doing that stuff. So I think the key that I would leave with is you got to take a serious assessment of where you are today. And then you got to set some goals that are achievable. So if you walked an 18-minute mile, right? What's it going to take for you to walk 17:59? What's it going to take for you to get to 17:30? And then after you start cutting, it's 58, 17:56, 17:49. Then the progress gets addicting. And that's how I've set up my own training. And for some of my clients, one of them texted me today, a one-arm deadlift, and he was having trouble 3 weeks ago on it, and it wasn't looking good. It was wobbly, it was unstable, and it was like, bro, take the weight down. Take it down to whatever it is that you can do it perfect. Like it's a textbook. Like you want people to say, oh, that's how you do it. He did that. He listened. Now, 3 weeks later, he's above what he sent me, what was wobbly, and it was perfect.
Nice.
But he was smart and went back to go forward.
Yep.
And he listened. Not everyone listens. And that's why he is going to continue to make gains and continue to be proud of his success because he listened. And I'm so proud of him because today's lifts he sent to my telephone were perfect. Perfect lift. It was wonderful. Beautiful. And is he going to break any world records yet? No. But he's so much better than he was just 3 weeks ago, just 21 days.
Yeah.
Because he listened. And so I think goals are really important. The diet is really important. The sleeping and the stress are really important. So and I'm the worst person to talk about this because I'm from New York. I'm high strung for a high strung person. So I know about stress. Okay. I've lived in it my whole life. So it's easy for me to like blow up and get stressed out. And I've been much, much better, even though my wife might disagree. I've been much, much better after the heart attack and the stroke about controlling my stress levels. Much better. I know because I can feel it. So much better. I'm not perfect. Don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect, but I'm much better about that. I've been much better about going to sleep earlier and getting the rest that I need, because part of the deal when you have a brain injury like a stroke, you need sleep. You need sleep to recover. You can't recover if you're constantly doing stuff. And I'm very disciplined, and like I might be watching the Warriors game, for example, and I just go to bed at 9, even though I want to see what's going to happen. Well, I'll record it and watch it tomorrow. You know, I'll don't check Bleacher Report, and I'll hopefully not see it unless one of my students says, "Hey, Mr. Magni, you see Curry with that 3?" And I'm like, "Oh,
Buzzer beater that won the game."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Watching the Warriors today might be stressful enough, though.
Well, now, yes. Yes. Not as fun as they were a couple years ago, but still, I know Curry's injured right now, but I make the argument that Curry should be the MVP this year because the fact that they've won any games, because Draymond Green can't even score a basket right now. He's no. And so, I mean, he's an excellent passer, ridiculous defender, but for some reason, he's just let offense go to waste. So they don't guard him. So, and they just put a second man or third man on Curry, and he's still scoring almost 30 points a game. So the fact that he can do that when everyone knows he's going to score, and he still scores, and he does it again, he's the most valuable one in basketball. Yeah. Imagine if he still had KD and Klay Thompson there.
Yeah, they would be first.
Oh, they'd be unbeatable.
They'd be beating that Sun squad that seems unbeatable. I mean, Phoenix is just on a tear right now. It's crazy to even watch.
No, well, Devin Booker is showing everyone that he's people forget about him, but he's very, very good. Very, very, very good.
And that no-named Utah Jazz team that, doesn't seem like they have one superstar on their team, but, they're number one in the West right now.
Well, the Donovan Mitchell guy is very, very good. He's physically, he doesn't look as impressive as some of the other guys.
He's productive, though.
Yeah, exactly.
He's explosive, and he can light it up when needed. Mike Conley is an excellent, excellent teammate. And when you got a 7'2" or 3 guy like Rudy Gobert who can change the game,
that giant in the center they have, helps.
And no one wants to go get swatted and end up on the highlight reel with Shaq. So lot less interior shots against the Jazz. So yeah, they're quite It depends on the matchups. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how the playoffs, how the seedings fall, because Dallas isn't doing that great compared to before, but they still have Doncic and Porzingis. Damian Lillard can score 50 points anytime he wants to.
Philly is healthy; they might be good.
Yeah, and look at the Nuggets. The Nuggets could be coming on. So, Jamal Murray and Jokic, I mean, who can guard Jokic?
Nobody.
No one. So, I don't know. Basketball right now is very exciting times, I think, because anything can happen. And as you guys know, because I see you're ardent basketball fans, when the playoffs come, the stars kick it up a couple notches.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I don't think it's a lock that the Nets are going to win. They may have acquired every superstar they can, but I'm not. I mean, if they win, it's not going to surprise me. I mean, any team with James Harden, Durant, Kyrie Irving is.
I think their big advantage is they're not in the West, so they don't have to fight through that West in the playoffs, because the West is going to beat the hell out of each other in the playoffs, and the Nets will probably be fresh as day because they don't have anybody play except the Bucks, and the Bucks aren't even really good.
I totally agree, right? The West is going to have a lot of 7-game series. Even your 2-7 or 3-6 series, those might go to 7 games. So they're going to be exhausted, while the Nets are going to be 4-0, just waiting and watching Sports Center and kind of relaxing. So that I fully concur with your. And when you play more games with your analysis, when you play more games, there's always a slight chance that someone sprains an ankle, someone hurts something, someone gets a concussion or something weird, and then it all looks different. So no, but it's going to be an exciting spring for basketball for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but getting back to the fitness thing, I think you got to start somewhere and you got to set goals, and you can't put it off. I mean, I think America's problem is we're real good at putting it off and justifying why we're not doing something. But I think if you have an improvement mindset, the mindset where I'm going to make a difference today, what can I do today for the next hour that's going to make me physically better? I think most people, I mean, like 99%, maybe more than 99% of people don't think about the training that way. They don't think like this. What can I do? How can I reorganize my day so I get 1 hour interrupted of exercise? And most people don't think about that, but that's what they need to think about, because if you get an hour of exercise every day for 365 days, you're going to be in a hell of a lot better shape than you were 365 days ago.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it needs to be maximum rolling thunder or heavy pinch grip or super wrist curls or lifting the inch. But I think you need to be active more than we think we do, because let's face it, most of our life here in America, unless you have a menial manual labor job, like you're lifting plywood or digging trenches or something, most of us, you're sitting in front of a computer like I am, and most people, they're not moving too much at their job. So you got to make it you got to incorporate it. And again, for me, I do it right when I get up, because right when I get up, it's going to happen. If I wait till 5 or 6 at night, I'm tired. It's not going to happen, probably, maybe. But if it happens right away, it's done. Workout's over. Now let me do my day.
Yep.
And if I feel good and I want to work out twice, good for me. But a lot of people are not me, so they're not going to do that. But you can get up. I mean, think about it. You can, whatever your work schedule is, whether you work at 2 a.m. or you work at 8 a.m, you can always get up an hour earlier, and you can go to bed an hour earlier to get that hour of sleep back, and decide, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z today, and do it.
Absolutely.
And that's it. That's why workout partners come into play, because if someone holds you accountable, if you meet someone at the gym, or you meet your brother in the garage, or whatever you do, now you got a date, or you're paying for a personal trainer. Hey, I'm meeting, Joe or Sally, and I'm going to give them $50 for this hour. damn well better go, because otherwise you gave him $50 for nothing.
Exactly.
So if you make that commitment with yourself, and if you have to set a reminder on your phone or whatever you have to do it, that to me is the key. I think that's the biggest key. And make it part of your daily routine, so that if someone took exercising away from you, you'd be sad.
Yeah, I
But
like
I
that,
Yeah.
that mindset,
Awesome.
that constant improvement mindset reminds me of will it make the boat faster? You read that one? Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Or, any of the books, Compound Effects, Atomic Habits, just get 1% better each day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know that one, but have you read David Goggins' book?
Yes.
Right? Now he's a freak, right? He's insane.
Absolutely.
Right? He's insane. But his mentality and what he does, and I'm not saying you need to torture yourself
Yeah, exactly.
to run for 48 hours or do the crazy stuff that he wanted to do. But there are elements of that book that are very applicable to today's life for anyone.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like the giving up, you don't give up. You're not going to give up. When
Nope.
are you done? And I'll tell you a rule I hold myself to. I have my workouts already pre-scripted, written by me. And I don't leave the garage until I do the goal, whatever my goal is. And some of my students have caught on to that, and they're like, I get to school and I'm not late, but it's getting close. And they're like, oh, Mr. Magni, you had a tough workout this morning? They already know why. They already know. I said, yeah, yep. And I just smile, because they know if they're in my morning class and I don't get, a lot of kids, they come and hang out, so they get here early. So before COVID, they got here early. Now no one's here but me and my pet snakes. But it's ridiculous. But that's a whole nother podcast. But they know. They're like, oh, got a tough workout this morning. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No, they know. They know what's going on.
So before we let you go, do you have any questions for us, Couch Potato Strong?
No, I think you guys are doing a fantastic job of doing a bunch of things. I think anyone that can get the message out to do more, it's going to become a lifestyle. And trust me, from someone who is very active but had some horrific health events in 2020 too, right? I mean, I could have been dead twice in 2020, and I'm not. I'm still here. So I think people take for granted their health, and I didn't take it for granted, my health. I didn't think I was going to have a heart attack or a stroke or both, but I don't drink, I don't smoke. I was trying to be healthy, what I thought was healthy. And I asked my neurologist, hey, what do you think of, because he asked me what I do. And I said, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I never have, and none of that stuff. He goes, oh, you wouldn't have recovered from either one. Because you'd be dead. You wouldn't be here right now. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm glad that that's the answer, because I made a good decision not to do that stuff.
Yeah.
But now the version 2.0 of me, or version 3.0 after the stroke, what else can I do? Or what can I do? Right. And I think if people make the investment in themselves, their quality, they don't know what they're missing on their quality of life. And I think with you guys spreading the word, getting people active, even though you're called Couch Potato, it's Couch Potato Strong. So it's a cool name. So getting more people active of all ages that you've had there, lifting the potatoes and doing other stuff, I think you guys are onto something, and I wish you the best of luck in spreading the word for all those, like you said, the obstacle courses and Spartan things. I think that stuff is all great. I may not want to do all of it, but I think more options are better than less options. Exactly. And I think you guys are doing a great job, and I think you should continue to do it and interview people and learn the tips. And if you're ever out in California, you have an open invitation to train in my garage anytime you want. If you ever go back, so from Morgan Hill, it's 2 hours and 45 minutes to my house.
Okay.
Cool. So do your parents still live in Morgan Hill?
No.
We still do have some family down in California though, so we'll have to
All right. Well,
Swing on down
if you find yourself there, you get a hold of me, and that's the honest truth. You come and train, and we'll train.
Awesome.
So,
Appreciate
and then
that.
we'll go out to eat, and I'll have vegetables, and you can have everything else. But
Yeah.
no, I think you guys are doing great. I mean, I didn't hear about your podcast until Adam was on there, and Adam told me, hey, these guys are cool. I was on this interview with them. You should look them up, and you should contact them. So you know, obviously when you put your thing out there, when you publish the video or whatever, I'll put it out there too for people and try to get more and more people interested in what you guys have going on.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think you watch. I think Armlifting USA is going to explode in the next 2 or 3 years, because after this pandemic, where people have been in various levels of being cooped up for the last couple of years, people are dying to do something.
Yep.
They just don't know what Armlifting USA is yet.
And I think it's the best community that we've been a part in athletics. It's awesome people.
So everybody's so welcoming and help train and everything. It's amazing.
Good. Well, I'm delighted to hear that, since I'm second in charge. It's kind of a good thing, rather than to hear everyone's an idiot and it's crappy and you're doing a bad job. That's actually good to hear. Yeah, and if you ever are in California, I mean, you know, I'm 2 hours from Ode's gym, an hour and 45 minutes with no traffic, which never happens. But
that'd be amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'll set it up, and we can all go down there together and train, and you can meet Ode, and you know, maybe even Martins will emerge. Who knows?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Who knows? He's a big goofball who's setting up his own gym right now. So I don't know exactly how that's happening, because that's even further away from me in Santa Monica. So I don't know. I'm not, because I'm coaching track, I can't go down there for the grand opening. We have meets every weekend. So, but he's not at the training hall as much. But like you said, you guys are going to the King Kong in Dallas at Adam's house outside of Dallas.
Yeah.
If you ever plan for something like the LA Fit Expo,
absolutely,
or something else,
more trips. So for sure,
we're gonna do some stuff on the road. So
spuds on the road.
Yeah, well, just let me know in advance, and we'll get something going.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks for being on.
Oh, it was my pleasure. It was fun. Wish you guys the best of luck, and yeah, I learned something new about those cone grips. So you know, I'm ready to learn too. So awesome. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye.